Have you ever stopped to think about how tiny little words can completely change what you're saying? We're talking about words like must, should, may, the modals. You use them constantly without even thinking about it. But today, we're going to slow down and really decode them because these small words, well, they have some pretty big meanings.
So let's just jump right in with a question. He must be tired versus he should be tired. Do they mean the same thing? I mean, they're close, right? But are they identical? Not quite. That tiny difference is exactly what we're going to get to the bottom of today.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the certainty scale. Then we'll dive into the world of possibility and what to expect. After that, we'll get into rules and obligations, and we'll wrap it all up with some critical distinctions you'll definitely want to remember. Okay, first up, the certainty scale. This is all about those moments when you're pretty darn sure about something, not because you saw it with your own two eyes, but because all the clues are pointing in one direction. It's about making a logical deduction. And when we're at the top of that scale, when we're feeling really confident in our conclusion, our go-to word is must. The whole idea here is that you're like a detective, piecing together the evidence to come to a strong, reasoned conclusion. And you can see how it works right here. You see the lights are off, so what's your brain's logical leap? They must be asleep. He didn't text back? Well, he must have forgotten. You take one piece of information, one clue, and you draw a powerful conclusion from it. But, and this is absolutely crucial, using must isn't the same as stating a fact. Saying he must be home means you've inferred it. Maybe you see his car in the driveway. But saying he is home means you know it for sure. Maybe you're on the phone with him. One is an inference and the other is a fact. Big difference. Okay, so we've covered being almost 100% certain. But life isn't always that black and white, right? What about all those gray areas when you're just not so sure? Well, let's explore the worlds of possibility. For this, we've got three key players: may, might, and could. When you use any of these, you're basically saying, hey, here's an idea. Here's one possible way to look at this, but I'm not locking it in. You're leaving the door open for other interpretations. Now, you might think these are all the same, and yeah, we do use them interchangeably a lot, but there are tiny shades of meaning. May is kind of your standard, neutral possibility. Might often feels a little more tentative, maybe a bit less likely. And could is perfect for when you're brainstorming a few different options. But here's the thing. Don't get too hung up on this. It's not a hard and fast rule. Think of it more like a spectrum of possibility. In a real conversation, context is king, and you'll hear people use these very, very flexibly. All right, we've hit the two extremes. Near certainty with must, and wide open possibility with may, might, and could. But what about that huge space in the middle? You know, for things that are probable or likely. Let's talk about what to expect. And for this, our hero modal is should. When you use should, you're signaling a reasonable expectation. You're saying, based on what I know, based on the usual routine, this is what's probably going to happen. And the really cool thing about should is how much it can do. You can talk about the future. The train should be here any minute. You can use it for the present. It's noon. He should be on his lunch break. And you can even use it for the past, often when an expectation wasn't met. He should have called by now. I wonder what's up. It's a real workhorse. So everything up to now has been about what we believe or expect to be true. Now we're going to make a pretty big pivot. We're moving from the world of belief into the world of rules and requirements. This isn't about what you think, it's about what you have to do. When an action is required, we pull out words like must, have to, and need to. And that requirement, that obligation, it can come from anywhere. It could be a law, a rule at work, or just the circumstances you find yourself in. Now here's a classic distinction: must versus have to. Must often has a feeling of personal authority, like it's coming from the speaker. It's forceful. You must finish this report by 5. Have to usually points to an outside force, an external rule. Sorry, I can't talk. I have to go pick up my kids. See the difference? It's not my rule. It's just the situation. Okay, we are in the home stretch now. This last section is all about dodging some of the most common mix-ups with modals. Let's make sure we get these key differences locked in so you can avoid any confusion down the road. So let's circle all the way back to our very first question. He must be home versus he should be home. And now the difference is crystal clear, right? Must is that strong deduction based on solid evidence. Should is just a reasonable expectation. It's strong, but it leaves a little more room for doubt. Okay, now pay close attention to this one because this trips up everybody and it is so, so important.
Must not and don't have to are completely different. Must not means something is forbidden, a prohibition. You must not enter this area. But don't have to just means it isn't necessary, it's optional. You don't have to wear a tie. Getting these two confused can lead to some really serious misunderstandings.
And there you have it. When you really get down to it, it's pretty amazing. The smallest, most common words are often the ones that do the most work. So the next time you use one, just take that extra split second to think about the exact meaning you're trying to get across. Because as we've just seen when it comes to modals, it's the little things that mean everything.